Hey, it's Dana Tobe-Coburn here, back with another video. In my last video, I showed you how to drape this Sweetheart bodice, but in this video, I'm going to show you how to create this strapless Sweetheart bodice from that drape pattern. So let's begin. So now you have your pattern piece. You want to remove all the pins from it, and you're going to separate each panel. You can go ahead and nicely iron everything out to make sure it's nice and neat. And then we're going to take these pieces and transfer it onto pattern paper. If you don't have any pattern paper, you can use brown paper to copy the pattern. Disclaimer, for me, I have been doing this for a very long time, so I can visually see if any errors is on the pattern, and I can correct them on paper. But if you are a beginner or someone who's not so sure on how to fix a pattern, you want to go ahead and copy the pattern onto a fabric that you're not really interested in, and then retry it on yourself or on your mannequin to see how it fits, and then go back and then put it on paper with the corrections. So here I'm going to be tracing it out. I'm basically going to draw in my 1/2 inch seam allowance, and any errors that I see on this pattern, I'm going to correct it. I also like to indicate which panel is what, so if you can do this, it's your option if you want to, but I recommend that you do if you're going to get your pattern pieces confused. You want to make sure that you indicate where you connect your front panel to your side panel. Once everything complete, now you want to take your pattern and it's ready for cutting. All your pattern pieces will look just like this, and you're ready for cutting. So I'm going to be using a 1/2 yard of the printed fabric non-stretch, and also a 1/2 yard non-stretch in the lining as well. You're gonna need boning with the casing, about 1 yard, scissors, a zipper the length of your crop top. So now you want to go ahead and take your pattern pieces and pin them together to go ahead and get ready to sew. You want to do that for the outer shell, which is your whatever fabric you want on the outside, and your lining as well. Once you have everything pinned together, sew everything down. Press all seams open, your outside shell as well as your lining. If you're lining now, we're going to go ahead and place the casing of the boning onto the front seaming of the bodice. So here I have my boning. I'm going to get ready to insert it inside the casing once I stitch everything down. Once you're complete with that, you want to go ahead and take your boning and go ahead and insert it inside the casing. Make sure that your boning is 1 inch smaller than the seam, so that way it doesn't catch when you're going to stitch at the 1/2 inch line on the hem and at the top edge of the bodice. Once you had inserted, it will look like this. You can start shaping it. It's supposed to be easy. A plastic boning will be due. You can use metal as well. Here I got my zipper already prepared, and I'm going to place it onto the outer shell of the fabric. So first I'm going to use the side that doesn't have the zipper hook, and I'm going to place it on the back seam facing inward on top of the fabric, and then I'm going to pin to place. Make sure the teeth are facing onto the face of the fabric, not outwards, inward. As you see me placing it here, and I'm going to stitch it down close to the zipper line, but I want it to be 1/8 of an inch away from the zipper. And I'm going to do the same for the other one on the other side. It will look like this once it's finished. And you can see once I close it, you will see that the zipper is, you have to flip the zipper inwards now to go ahead and zip it up, and it will look like this. Nice and closed. Now you want to place your lining on top of the bodice. I'm going to go back and open it up again before, because I did close it. And here's the trick. I left a 1/2 inch at the top edge where the point is going to meet for the heart to create the heart shape. So you want to leave that open so that way you can go ahead and stitch it from the edge where the zipper is and all the way to the part where it meets at the point for your heart. So you're going to do it one side at a time so that way you can create the nice seaming to allow you to create that heart shape. Because if you just sew it straight up on top and close that 1/2 inch seam, it won't create the heart shape as much. So that's a trick that you can use. So I'm going to do one side first and follow the shape of the top of the neckline, and then after that, once I got that stitch, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and it will look like this. Ready, stitch down with the opening on the top, with the 1/2 inch opening at the top. Next, you want to go ahead and flip it inside. And with the excess of seaming at the front part of the bodice, you want to go ahead and push that backwards onto the lining and stitch a 1/8 of an inch stitch line at the neckline onto the lining of the fabric. This will allow the fabric, the lining, not to flip over and show on the front side of the shell, because this sometimes creates an ugly look. So this will help it for it to stay down. Once you've done that, it will look like this, and then you want to go ahead and stitch a 1/2 inch at your hem. So flip it back inside and then pin the bottom of the bodice a 1/2 inch and just stitch it in so you can finish it off like so. Next, you want to go ahead and flip the whole thing out. You want everything to lay nice and flat and neat and clean. Make sure you pull out every inch that you can from the edge so that way you can neatly press everything down. Use a cotton cloth or muslin fabric to go ahead and press. Okay, so now the edge of the zipper needs to be cleaned up and cleaned in. So here I'm going to turn it inwards, the lining and the zipper bodice inwards, and I'm going to go ahead and pin them down so I can go ahead and do a top stitch a 1/4 of the way from the edge to close everything in, like how you see me pinned it here. So I'm going to do that for both ends to make sure that everything is nice and sealed. And then once you complete, it will look like this. Your bodice is complete. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, if you have any other requests for redesign your clothes, please leave them in the comments and I will select a commenter for the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.